Looks like New Salt's here. Hey, Tim, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
We regrouped at the Triangle for a nighttime experiment with our friends from New Salt Laser and technologist Pete Kelsey.
Well, it's good to have you back out to the ranch, Tim. There's something very interesting happening in the space right above the triangle.
Okay.
I understand you're bringing more wattage this time than the last time you were out here with us.
So this year, we actually have 8 total laser space cannons, and they're higher power, so I would expect we are definitely going to see something.
I love the idea of getting more photons into the sky, because, that'll help us to paint that space and see if, in fact, we get a repeat of the things we've seen before right over this triangle.
Once the sun goes down, the New Salt team is going to set up several high-powered laser space cannons that will shoot beams of laser light from the center of the triangle all the way up into outer space. If we see any breaks in the beams, it might help us pinpoint whatever might be responsible for the anomalies we've seen and detected between the ground and high altitude. And they'll also aim an additional laser cannon at a 12 by 8 foot white screen that Thomas will position at the 31-foot mark using a lift. Then I'll use a device known as a spectrometer to measure any variations in the laser beam's color spectrum, which could indicate more evidence of the blob anomaly.
So we're gonna look all across the spectrum with all of our sensors, and hopefully we'll see something in that spot again.
I know we've got a lot of equipment to put out, so I say we get to it.
Great.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, when you come up with it, it'll be at low power, Chris.
Tim, you guys about ready?
Yeah, we're ready to go, Travis.
Hey, look right here. What is this?
What is that right there, right there?
I don't see lights on it.
I'm not seeing lights either.
I don't see aviation lights at all.
Yeah, I don't see any strobe.
I think that could be a UAP.
Yeah, I can barely still see it moving to the north and west.
It's gone.
We've seen a lot of UAPs in the sky during the last few years, but as an optical scientist who's worked with NASA and the Department of Defense on space technology for more than 3 decades now, this one looked bigger and brighter than anything we've ever documented on Skinwalker Ranch. It was even maneuvering like a craft for several seconds there, but then it just disappeared.
All right, well, let's get going.
Okay, I'm gonna go lift the screen up. We're all hooked up and ready to go, and we'll energize it when the backstop is up in the air.
All I knew for sure was that we needed to start our laser, LiDAR, and rocket experiment at the Triangle right away to see if it reappears or, given all the legends we've heard about portals out here, detect something to explain why it vanished.
We got Pete's ready over here, Omnitech's ready. Where are you gonna be?
I've got to get back over to the command center where I've got all the monitoring screens up right now.
Great. Well, I say we get to it. Okay, guys, be advised. Big laser's coming on.
Hey, Chris.
On the laser, go ahead and slowly bring up the power.
Copy that.
Yeah, that's bright. Wow, that's bright. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Before the New Salt team turned on the 7 vertical laser cannons that were positioned around the triangle, I wanted to test the one we had aimed at the whiteboard, positioned 31 feet high. That's right where we saw the blob-like anomaly that may have caused a rocket to explode back in 2022.
It's like staring at the sun.
While the laser cannon fired its beam, which has a specific spectrum of colors, into the 31-foot zone, I watched my spectrometer for any changes in those colors, which might indicate something strange was in the airspace.
So you can see the red, green, and blue. Look at that. Suddenly, it's gotten brighter in the green and dropped off in the blue. Why would it be doing that?
This laser is programmed to emit light with no variation in its brightness or color. So when I saw the green light was suddenly getting brighter, while the blue light started to fade, and then the colors actually changed slightly, that meant something strange at about 31 feet was causing it. So it was time for us to use all of our tools to identify just what it was.
All right, next step. Jim, you're gonna run LiDAR, right?
Correct.
So Pete, I'd rather you run thermal.
Oh, check.
All right, Jim, if you wanna go ahead and get in the air.
Yeah, copy that.
All right, lasers are up. Lasers are up, guys.
Here we go.
Pete's in the air.
Pete, I'm at 133.
I'm coming to 100 feet, Jim.
The LiDAR and thermal drones are up in the air.
Copy you, Travis.
Me and Dragon are gonna get a rocket up as quickly as possible.
Should I go hot on the battery?
All right. Rocket's going hot in 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Did y'all see that? It was like it was diverted around the anomaly.
That's gonna land on the Mesa.
The rocket should have gone straight up, but it clearly flew up in this odd S-shaped pattern, as if something redirected its course. So, could it have been the blob that did that?
Everybody clear out for the lasers?
Lasers up, Chris.
Lasers up.
Where rocket is going hot. Rocket is hot. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How did it go over there?
I don't know. There's hardly any wind.
All right, let's go back and see what they got.
Okay.
Sure enough, the rocket veered away instead of going straight up, as though something pushed it off course. Who knows what caused it, but it was really weird that the same thing happened multiple times.
So I don't see anything weird or crazy. Pete, are you seeing anything? Jim, are you seeing anything?
No, nothing out of the ordinary.
We just flew on that last rocket launch.
There was nothing in the air.
Okay.
Hey, Eric, do you copy? We're about to wrap up out here at the tent. Okay, guys, we can bring the lasers down and let's shut everything down.
How are we doing?
All right. We are just about to review everything that happened during the exercise with new salt, in effect trying to probe the anomaly directly above the triangle.
That night was so crazy.
That was quite an experiment.
The day after our multi-laser rocket experiment at the Triangle, Jim Royston, Pete Kelsey, Eric, and I scoured through our data, hoping that we would see something at 31 feet in the air that might explain all the strange things we detected. But instead, we found something that none of us were expecting.
So near the tent, you guys remember we had a couple of cameras locked off on the space cannon beams going up?
Yep.
And they were set to take a snapshot every so often, and we found something that is really odd.
Yeah, odd to say the least. I can't explain this.
Whoa. No.
Yeah. Looks like the beam stops and then starts again. So if there was something in there blocking the beam, it wouldn't continue above it.
How could it block out the green, not the blue?
It doesn't make any sense at all. I've never seen anything like this ever. And if you look at the ends of the beams look rounded off.
Yeah, these do, certainly. Here, here. And it appears that this is cutting into the beam profile on the left-hand side.
What could be doing that? And it didn't just happen in one of the images.
Oh, no.
Kidding me.
What?
So here we see unaffected bluish,
bluish
light.
and purple lasers, right? And now
Look here.
Look there.
Look near the top here.
Yeah.
Again, just the green, just the green.
It's got that hard edge geometry on it.
I cannot explain it. I do not understand it, but there it is. And then we have another one.
Look here.
Yeah.
So you see, we had this in 3 different long exposure photographs.
And they're all at about 100 feet off the ground.
And if we're running around doing so much stuff, we may not ever looked at the right time and saw this.
The fact that we captured 3 different images of gaps in only the green laser beam showed that this wasn't a camera error. Something created 3 different voids in just the green laser beams at a height of about 100 feet above the triangle.
I guess we need to invite these guys back and bring those lasers back out here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to understand what just happened here.
I did not expect to see that.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.